All right, guys, we're back again. This time, we're going to be on the Indian. This is my 2019 Indian FTR. Spec says 123 horsepower, 85-ish foot-pounds of torque, pound-feet of torque, however you say it, however you want to say it. However, mine has a tune, and that's probably that. Those numbers are always at the crank when you hear a manufacturer talking about numbers. Mine is probably at the wheel at that with the tune. Not sure. Just a best guess. Just being on it and riding. Last weekend, I tried to do a video on the FTR. However, I was trying to use my Senna as usual for my audio, and it just wasn't working. It was real echoey. It was picking up some, not picking up others. So I went ahead and ordered another microphone, a Bluetooth mic for me and this setup. So hopefully today it'll work better. Anyhow, Jeff and I we did go to the Blessing of the Bikes last weekend. Really good trip. I think I got about 150 miles in on the FTR, and Jeff probably got 45 to 50 more than me, maybe slightly more due to where he lives and where we met up. But all in all, good day. We had fun. It was a good trip. Again, I was trying to use my Senna the whole time and couldn't. It wasn't functioning correctly with the setup I have. So I do have some video of being over there. I do have some video that I did shoot. So I will kind of sprinkle that in here. As far as today goes, though, we had a little barbecue get together at my in-laws. So we were over there most of the day. Well, today I decided to go ahead and take the Indian back out for a little ride, bring you guys along. Also, this parking lot. This is the, what do you call it? The outlet mall here in Minor, Missouri. I don't see a whole lot of stores with storefronts and banners and open to business stores. There are a few. However, this looks like it'd be a great place for a meetup. It would be perfect for a little bike meetup or a little bike show. It'd be really good for car shows even. I mean, there's parking spots just painted out everywhere. I mean, rows and rows and rows of them. So maybe I'll see if I can get a hold of whoever I need to try to maybe set something up or try to get in with a couple different groups to all of us try to set something up. Maybe not even just with the bikes. Even we could probably even do Jeep stuff here. I mean, it's plenty big enough for sure. There are a lot of food truck and stuff like that around this area anyway. The place I work, they always have food trucks come out on Thursdays, I think, and pretty good food, really. But anyway, we could maybe see if we can set something up like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. Just have a Saturday or something to where this place is just covered with motorcycles. Anyway, this is my FTR. It's nothing special, nothing new. To me, absolutely beautiful bike. For those of you that don't know, it's a 1200cc twin, V-twin. Don't know the degrees, but it is definitely a beautiful bike, in my opinion. Maybe only my opinion. But super fun, super peppy, torquey. It's just a really, really fun bike. Almost dropped you. Now, I took this trip on this bike for two reasons. One, Jeff really likes the Indian. And two, I wanted to give it a good, fair shakedown because this is the longest trip I've taken on it. I rode it home from when I bought it, and that was about a 30-ish, 33-mile trip. Since then, it's just been little short trips up and around town. Nothing special. But I don't know how many owners it's had. I don't know how well it's been maintained. I don't know a whole lot about it in general. So, you know, I'm not going to say I was scared of it, but I was timid about taking it on distance. Just because I don't know much in the way of V-twins, modern V-twin fixing, repairing on the side of the road. Nothing went wrong. Absolutely everything works correctly. Everything is perfect. So the tune kind of is what made me worried to begin with, because the tune that I got with the bike, I got a Dynajet with the bike, along with a few extra parts and pieces. And the Dynajet had two different tunes on it, both of which were slip-on exhaust, which I assume still maintained the catalytic converter and all that. So basically what it's got on it and what I bought it with is a header and a short piece of pipe and basically a bell. So this is the TOS or TOSI or however you say it exhaust. It's just headers to a little short piece of pipe to the tip. Now, don't get me wrong, it does sound good. It's a little loud for constant highway cruise set speed. It just kind of does drone on. I would not have chosen this exhaust for myself, but it is what it had on it when I bought it, and I'm not one to spend unnecessary money. So I'll fire it up, let you listen to it. It is, I don't know if the camera will pick it up real good, but it is quite throaty and kind of loud. And of course, we're going to go for a ride here in a minute, and the D-cell pops on it sound crazy. They're super aggressive. And at night, I have noticed that during some of the D-cell pops, it will spit a fireball. So good, bad, other, I don't really know. We're just going to keep letting it spit fire and do its thing, and I'm just going to keep enjoying every minute I'm on it. It's super nice. It rides really great. Once I got the suspension set up, it's got fully adjustable front and rear. Once I got the suspension set up for me and my size and my body weight, the ride was a lot better. It was smoother, more comfortable. The only thing I have not done yet, and only because I haven't gotten the tool yet, is to tighten up the coil spring on the rear. According to the book and everything I've seen online for my body weight, it needs to have 17 millimeters of distance between the body of the shock mount and that bottom of that lock nut on the suspension. So with any luck, I can get that accomplished. I don't know whether I can or not. And if I can, great. If I can't, it's a good ride right now. So not overly concerned. So I guess the only other thing to do is to hop on this little beast and go for a ride. All right, guys and girls and whoever else is watching. We are on the Indian. So
let's go ahead and take us a little ride. See what's what. See if we can find us a little 2-lane fun little road for us. Now, I will warn you, sometimes for some unknown reason, I do miss a second shift from first to second shift. Now, I don't know why. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So, we'll see how this works out. And hopefully we're not going to find any twisties, and we're not going to find any interesting roads at all to go on. But maybe we'll find something pretty to look at if we're lucky. Now, I know I need to be in this lane. Hey, look, we got a light. Cool. Got a lower speed limit here, so we're going to kind of do our thing to get it. Now, I will say, after being on that trip, it doesn't really seem like it's got that long of legs. Maybe the gearing needs to be stretched out just a little in 5th and 6th. But I can say that 70, 72 miles an hour on the interstate, you're probably just over 4,000 RPMs. That seems a bit much for me. Just knowing that, my BMW, it's like 3,000, but I don't know, they both redline around the same 9,000, 9,200. So anyway, we'll just kind of cruise around a little bit. Not really a whole lot's been going on, just been staying busy at work. Been trying to get out on the bikes. My wife did have a ride with me last weekend, I believe it was. And of course, I always let her lead. She got a little spicy through some curves. Just went slightly wide on the first one and went a little wider on the second one, which is what happens. But for whatever reason, I couldn't get our incentives to sync up, and I couldn't talk to her. I felt like she was going in a little hot, but there wasn't a lot I could do other than kind of watch her and hope that nothing really happened, which it didn't. She was fine. She, it was right before we usually stop and have us a little chat and then take off again. I was pretty much said, went in a little spicy there, did you? She was like, yeah. But I mean, it's a learning process, She handled it well. She didn't freak out. She didn't just clam up. She didn't get real tense. She did everything she was supposed to do when, you shoot a corner a little wide. We've all done it, every single one of us. And if you say you haven't, you're lying. I do it quite often on roads that I don't know. I'll think that, that curve doesn't look too bad. And then it's, a little sharper than I thought, or it's got a little bit of a different ending to it where it tightens up. So kind of makes you pucker a little bit, and your instincts kick in, or your muscle memory, or whatever you want to call it. You just make the curve. So, not a huge deal, but nonetheless, it did happen. So, anyway, more about the Indian here. We're 60 miles an hour, roughly 3,700 RPM in 6th gear. Now, I don't know, since it's been so long since I've been on a V-twin, and I've never been on a modern V-twin like this. Is that normal? I don't know. Did it function all day long for roughly 150 miles? Absolutely. So, I'm not too worried about it. It never got hot. The hottest it got was when we got over to the cross and we're going up the hill and having to stop every few feet and just basically bumper to bumper traffic, or tire to tire traffic, however you want to say it. And it just, I don't know, it just, it got up to about 202, I think. But once it breaks 200, the fan kicks on and it drops down to the 180s pretty quickly. Like right now, it's showing 76 degrees outside, and I'm sitting at 167 degrees. So nothing really to worry about there. I did check tire pressure and oil and everything before I left. I always do when I'm going on a longer trip. I always tend to check things out, make sure everything's okay. I don't want to get halfway through a little bit longer trip and end up breaking down on the side of the road, or end up just needing to fix something that I have no tools or no parts to fix. So that was a little bit of a struggle, but it's okay. I got over it, and Jeff and I just went. I didn't worry about it, and had zero issues throughout the whole day. So, and I'm sure that you guys can hear this exhaust. It is ridiculous, and the camera's probably not even doing it justice. It's the loudest thing I've ever ridden, for sure. And the drone on the interstate or going 55, 60 mile an hour for extended periods of time is a bit excessive. Jeff and I both determined, I think his is wind noise, but mine is the exhaust on this. We both need to find us some, I don't know, maybe some earplugs or something to kind of help with the just loudness of everything. So anyway, enough rambling about that. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody that does ride has been able to get out and do so. Have your little throttle therapy, so to speak. It always just kind of helps ease the thoughts, kind of helps ease the mind. You're focused on what you're doing, especially if you're in an unfamiliar area. You got to kind of really pay attention. You got to watch out for dogs and vehicles that aren't paying attention and all that. So you got a lot on your mind, and you're needing a little escape from it. Go for a ride. That's one of the best things for me. I just really enjoy it. It's always fun. I always get to see cool stuff. and pulls all the way up to the speed limit every time. It's crazy. It feels good. It's got a little bit of a, I don't know, I would say more of a heavier feeling front end to me. But I think that might have a lot to do with me spending so much time on my BMW the last few years. And, you know, with that, it's just, the BMW has that tail lever front end, and you do lose a lot of feeling in the front end with that. But as big of a bike as it is, it really dips in and out real smooth, real quick, real easy. The agility on that big bike is crazy to me, and that's another reason why I bought it. Now this bike is super fun. I don't know how well to trust it yet in corners. I'm not going to lean it till I'm dragging something, but I will, and I did on Sunday, kind of go in a little hard, kind of go in a little, maybe a little harder than I should have at a place or two, but it handled it well. It did everything I asked it to, and that's all you can ask for. It just does feel a little bit heavy. It's got a little bit, it's got a little bit longer wheelbase than most other bikes that are designed in this way. You can only really describe this as an American naked bike. Yes, it is built off of Indian's race-winning flat track bike, but I guess it probably could be a flat tracker. It definitely has a setup for it. It has the look about it and the characteristic, but I don't know how to do that. I think it'd be a blast to be able to do that, but I'm not sure how. There's that D-cell. You gotta love it. I did get quite a few looks while we were out and about. Out of everything that was there, I did not see another FTR. I haven't seen another FTR on the street anywhere around here, to be honest. But that's not to say they're not here. It's just to say that I've not paid attention or I haven't seen them. I would love to run into somebody else that's got one. That way we can talk about them. Especially if I can run into somebody with a 22 or newer. Because the 22s and newer have 17-inch wheels front and back. They're a little bit lower. The handlebars are down a little further. They're a little more narrow. And from my understanding, I haven't been on one, but from my understanding, they're more of a naked bike feel. So it'd be really cool to run into somebody with one. If nothing else, just to look at them and talk about them. Go for a little ride, maybe. It's really pretty out here. I don't even know where I am right now. I'm somewhere between, what's that little town? Bertrand and Blodgett, I think. Somewhere between there. Who knows? It's pretty out here. I'll give it that. Especially since all the grass has started to grow and all the trees have started to leave. And it is just really pretty. Seems quiet out here. I guess I'm ruining that for everybody. Sorry guys. Not intentional. There's a town up this way called Dogwood, I believe. No, Dillstat. There it is. Hey, look, we're in Dillstat. Not quite sure exactly where that is for me, but here we are. It's pretty over here. But like I've said before, over here it's extremely flat. Nothing but fields. Looks like we got corn on one side. What is that over there? It's either beans or cotton. I can't really tell from here. But you'll get the random farm that has horses or cattle. Or I guess that'd be called a ranch at that point, wouldn't it? But you do have a lot of farmhouses out here. A lot of little grain silos. Yeah, there's some wheat. But anyway, it's super pretty out here. It seems calm and quiet and relaxed. The roads aren't the best. They're pretty bumpy and wavy. And they have all these little cracks in them, I'm sure you can see. But I guess that's just asphalt. Asphalt being placed over the top of sand. That's pretty much all we have around here. But beautiful skies, pretty clouds, fields, fresh air. What more can you ask for? For me, this is the most relaxing thing I could be doing right now. Yeah, I could be sitting on the couch, puppy in my lap or dog in my lap, and watching TV, watching a movie. But how is that better than this? Sometimes it is. When you're tired, when you're wore out from work, when you're too tired or too angry to ride, which can happen. If you're not in the right mindset, you definitely don't need to be out on a bike. But if you just got a lot on your mind and you're not upset about it, and it's not just eating at you and you're not just aggravated at the world, this is a great place to be. I mean, it helps you relax. Helps you see things that you haven't seen. I've not been out this way myself in 20 years. That's why I'm unfamiliar with where I am. But, I mean, here I am. I'll pick a little 2-lane road to turn down, and there we go. I'll just ride it until I find somewhere familiar and then head back home. Could be a 10-minute ride, could be an hour, 2-hour ride. It just all depends. If I'm enjoying it and I'm having fun, then this is where I need to be. If it's raining or if people are out being idiots and I'm getting more annoyed the further I go, I'll probably need to turn around. At that point, I mean, you gotta be safe. You gotta ride your ride. Look how hard that blows. All the way to the speed limit every time. It just pulls and pulls and pulls. That's why this bike is so fun. It's actually comfortable while you're doing it. I'm sure you've seen me lean into it. There's no wind protection at all on this. So that's one downside, but that's part of the fun too. With the exception of about 2 or 3 miles into our trip Sunday, I got hit in the neck with a wasp. And that little thing must have gone stinger first, because it nailed me. And the pain didn't last super long, but every time I would touch it for the next 30 minutes or so, it would sting again, like the stinger was still in it, and I just re-stung myself. But by the time we got over to the cross, I had forgotten all about it. It wasn't hurting or sore. I do still have a red spot though. Kind of a little whelp and a red spot. I'm not allergic, so it's not that big of a deal. But that always is the way, isn't it? As soon as you take off, something happens and you got to deal with it the rest of the day. It's all part of it. Yeah, now I'm really lost. I have no idea where I am. Just on a 2-lane road in southeast Missouri. It'll end up somewhere, I'm sure. There's little towns and little side highways and county roads everywhere around here, so I'll find something that looks familiar eventually. But for a super overcast and cloudy and drizzly rainy day, man, this day turned out to be pretty. I mean, just a few clouds in the sky, big bright sun, 76 degrees, perfect weather. I don't think I'd want to be outside doing anything else right now. This is just a perfect day for a ride. Sunday was too. I did get a little sunburn while we were out at the cross. I think last year I wore a bucket hat when I got there. All I brought was a regular baseball hat today, or Sunday, and we guess I'm gonna turn here and see where this takes me. Looks like Morley, so we'll check that out. Now, the back of my head and the back of my neck did get a little sunburn, but that's okay. It's tanned out now, and I'm sure by next week it'll be peeling, so that'll feel real good when I get out in the sun again. This is the typical side road here in southeast Missouri. Just a strip of blacktop, no center lines, no runoff on the side, no lines, no lights, no nothing. And that's fine during the day, but you get on one of these at night and you don't know where you're going, man, that can get dangerous quick, especially if you're going at speed. But cruising 55, which is what I assume the speed limit is out here. I haven't even seen a speed limit sign. So we're just guessing at this point. There's like a school bus stop ahead. Slow down for this blind hill. No idea what's on the other side. And some bumps and some more blacktop. Cool. So do you guys treat like hills like that like blind corners? Because I mean, really, that is what it is. It's it's just a vertical corner instead of a 3D horizontal corner. Hey, look, one of the ugliest things I've seen out here. Nice. It's just weird looking, sorry. Give me a square body Chevy any day of the week. Or Ford. Or Dodge for that matter. There's something about those 60s and 70s pickups that will always be timeless. But not that Cybertruck. That's never sat in one, but man, they're different. They definitely look different. Not to say they're not cool, but they're definitely different. Anyway, let's just kind of cruise around, look at all the dirt, telephone poles, trees. I don't know if you guys didn't believe me or not, but when I said that there is absolutely nothing out here but ribbons of blacktop and concrete and fields and crops and trees, I wasn't lying. I mean, that's, look at it. You're looking at it. You see it. In my little slice of the world here, this is it. This is what we have. If I want anything other than this, I'm going to have to travel at minimum an hour away. And that is to get up or get over around, I don't know, Poplar Bluff, Doniphan area. And I could go north and get up by Piedmont, Ironton, Farmington, there, areas like that. Hey, cool. I know exactly where I am now. See, told you. It always leads to something. I do know in the fall and winter you have to watch out up this way, because there's a national park, I guess, and man, you want to talk about deer everywhere, amongst all sorts of other woodland creatures. But deer are the big ones that we really need to watch out for around here, especially on a bike. And I've never had to avoid or emergency stop or swerve a deer on a motorcycle, but I have in a vehicle. And it's panic-inducing enough in a vehicle, so I can just imagine on a motorcycle, there's nothing you can do. I mean, about all you can do is brace for it and hang on, because that's all you got. Alright, now I thought I was familiar with this area, but I don't know whether I am or not. I think I am, but I don't think I went as far as I thought I went. So cool, I am familiar with this area. This is just on the opposite side of the interstate. Okay. Now I know where I am again. We're good. But it's real easy to get lost on all these little side roads and little back roads all over the place out here, because, again, they're all tree lined. There's dirt and fields and flat land everywhere, so I mean, they all kind of look the same, all these little side roads. And you know, once you start to notice things like this gigantic array of solar that they've put in the last few years, that's on the east side of I-55, so I know exactly where I am. I am headed toward the town of Blodgett. Yes, the little town we went through before that was Bertrand. This is Blodgett. And like I say, these little towns are just dotted all over the place around here. And they're quaint little towns. I mean, they're super cute little towns. It's more of a... The last time I hung out in a little town like this with friends that lived here, it's more of the, I guess, mentality like it was in the 70s and 80s, where, you know, all of your neighbors kind of knew each other. You know, everybody's kids got kind of watched and told on by other parents to their actual parents. But it's kind of one of those deals. I don't know if it's still that way, but it used to be 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And that needs to come back, in my opinion. You know, there needs to be that freedom for kids to run around the neighborhood, and that want of the kids, you know, on their own volition, to want to be around the neighborhood kids and play baseball in a side lot somewhere in a field behind somebody's house. I feel like that way of life has gone away so hard and so fast. Even with my kids, I mean, they didn't do a lot of that. They did play sports. They did kind of go hang out with their friends and all that, you know, the typical kid stuff, but they didn't go out. I mean, we had a swimming pool in the yard, you know, in the back, so they'd go out and swim and stuff like that, but we didn't have the neighborhood kids that I had when I was young. Now, there were kids in the neighborhood, but my kids didn't know them. Even though they rode the same bus to school, my kids didn't really know them. I guess they didn't want to know them. And that's fine, but where did all that go? There was a lot more sense of community back then. And I know everybody's busy and all the world has gotten money hungry and everything has kind of gone digital, and I don't know, it's just, I couldn't imagine growing up without the life experience I got when I was a kid. I feel like that would have been one of the most boring things to have to deal with. But I mean, it's not anything I can do about it. It's just what it is. There's just not really a whole lot going on there. So I wonder where that road goes. We'll find out one of these days. But anyway, everybody's so busy with work and with life in general, trying to keep their kids out of trouble. Nobody really tries to make time for themselves. I wish more people did what I do, you know, not necessarily for work or anything like that, but when I go out for a little ride, that's just one of the best times of the day for me. It's just fun and it's relaxing. And for some weird, odd reason, I really, truly do think that the oxygen out here in the middle of nowhere really does help. I mean, I feel like it does. I may be wrong. I know there's a turn up here to the right, or sorry, left. I'm going to take it. But it's just... It's just nobody has time to do anything for themselves anymore. And when they do have time, they're just so wore out from work, especially in this area. I mean, most people's work in this area consists of manual labor. I mean, I'm 46 years old. My job is very physically demanding. And it's consistent and constant all day long. And, I just feel like I'm getting too old for it. It hurts. Like, it is not a good day to have to lift as much as I do in a day and have to be at work for as long as I do every single day. But that's the job I chose. I kind of knew what I was getting into when I started it, and granted, it was better when I started. It has declined some, but that's just corporate America wanting more money. But I mean, you're going to have to deal with it. No matter what you do, you're going to have to deal with the corporate mindset of just everybody and everything you touch, everything you do requires money. So everything a company does requires more than it requires from you. But workers at my level aren't, I don't know, they're not valued for sure. And I'm not saying monetarily. I mean, I make okay money for the area. I'm not complaining about the money. I'm complaining about I have no life outside of work, And I know we're supposed to be talking about bikes and things, and in a way I am, because the things that relax me and the things that reset my mind and the things that allow me to tolerate a lot of the stupidity in my life and a lot of the just dumb things that I have to deal with is being able to get out on my bike and go for a ride. Look, beautiful horses, beautiful fields, beautiful trees. It's just wonderful. What more can you ask for? And this relaxes me. This gets me in a better state to be able to be more productive the following day. And when I'm so wore out, or I'm at work for so long and I can't come out and do this, then it starts to compound and it starts to really wear at you. And then it comes down to, well, I'm too tired to ride today. And then you do that for 3 or 4 days in a row. And then you're too tired to ride that whole week. And then you're trying to figure out what your weekend plans are, whether you have stuff with extended family or your grocery shopping or your trips to a different town to do some of the shopping that you do because you don't have it directly in your area. I mean, that takes up time. That takes up quite a bit of time. And by the time you get back home, you're wanting to eat lunch or eat dinner. And by the time you're done with that, guess what? It's starting to get dark. You're starting to be late in the evening. And oh yeah, we gotta feed the dogs, and we gotta deal with the animals, and we gotta get all our stuff ready for work the next day. And I mean, it just eats up your weekend, and you don't have time for it then either. So that week compiles into 2 weeks, and then ends up being 3 weeks, and then you just end up walking by your motorcycles every time you get home and just glancing at them like, man, I wish I could just get out on that thing and just kind of chill and relax and just go for a ride. I mean, how wonderful would it be? And then the more you just walk by them and look at them, the more it kind of gets under your skin that you can't do it. And then you start to become a little bitter about it. And then once you get to a point, and I've seen this happen multiple times for other people I know that have ridden over the years, is, you know, life just gets in the way so much that you just end up not being able to ride. And then you don't get mad about it. And you're like, well, screw it, I can't ride, so I'm just gonna sell my bike, or I'm just gonna, just let it ride, or I'll go trade it in on some other sort of toy, that I won't be able to utilize. A lot of times it's a four-wheeler, or a lot of times it's a side-by-side or something like that, and you end up in the exact same scenario, just with something different. And when these are things that you really enjoy doing, that really does start to wear on you some. I mean, it gets to the point to where it's somewhat depressing. I mean, that's why it's taken me a week to even be able to ride again, much less make a video or anything like that. I just haven't had time. I work a lot of hours and I do a lot of manual labor, so when I'm home, I get sore. When I sit down and finally relax, I don't want to get back up. It just feels too good to sit down for a little while. And that's the downside to the whole situation is, I know I'm going to be doing the exact same progression of not being able to do anything, and then every once in a while being able to. I'm going to have that for the next, 25, 30 years, probably, before I'm able to retire and actually live life. But by then, how broke down am I going to be? How destroyed is my body going to be? And, the more you think about stuff like that, the more you just want to hop on your bike and just go. You just want to take off. You want to not think about stuff like that, because it does start to wear on you. It does start to dig in and not allow you to focus on much else other than how aggravated you are that you can't do what you want to do. That was a big thing when I was a kid. We always were like, hey, I can't wait till I grow up. I'll be able to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Well, guess what, kid? No, you're not. You're going to have to go to work every day. You're going to have to provide for your family. You're going to have to do a lot of things that you don't want to do in order to live your life. But both my kids are grown. They're out of the house. I love them to death. But I don't have those baseball games and those soccer games and all those other things piled on my plate that I have to do. If I want to, as soon as I get off work, I can come home, I can change, I can get my gear on, and I can just head out. And I would like for my wife to be able to do that with me too eventually, and she will be. So we talked about that on the trip to my in-laws today. And she does want to be able to make trips like that. She does want to have fun and be able to go on a day trip on a bike. And with her having that mentality right now, then that kind of tells me that she actually is interested in continuing learning on her motorcycle. She does want to get better, and she does want to make trips, and she does want to do all that stuff. So, well, the only time so far I hit neutral, look at that. I told you, it's random, and I just may not be paying attention, but that's what it is. All right, we are roughly back to where we started, and we'll have some little final thoughts, I guess you could say. Keep an eye out on that corner there. Whee! All right, almost exactly where we started. Oops. All right, now let's turn this beast off. All right, so what do we think? Do we like the Indian? I know I do. Now, the one major problem that I have is these foot pegs. There's not a lot to them, but they're smooth and they're canted forward. So they, the whole 150 miles on that little round trip last weekend, my feet just kept edging down and edging down and edging down, and I keep having to pick my feet up. But also, the seat. Y'all know I'm a large person, and the seat feels like it's leaned forward a little. So I was having to scoot back on the seat and just push my butt up against the back here. Now, the seat is pretty comfortable. After several hours sitting in it, though, it almost feels like you're just sitting on the pan itself and not the seat. So I may try to do something about that eventually. But, I think it's a beautiful bike. It's fun to ride. It's a blast in a straight line. I haven't gotten up to really throwing it in a corner yet. So, and that's mainly just because of the rake on the front and the long wheelbase. It feels heavy. It feels kind of heavy from the front. So I may try that eventually, but maybe not. Who knows? Fun little bike. I did bleed all the brakes. Oh, and my lovely little piece of yellow duct tape here is because, and the reason for bleeding the brakes is because I lost this cap somewhere, somehow, and I don't know when or where. So once I noticed it, it was already pouring down rain anyway. So I was like, oh, now what? So I ordered a set of these little Indian Performance caps. They're aluminum. I ordered them off Amazon. They're not from Indian, I'm sure. But until I can get a cage around this one, it's going to have duct tape on it. It's not that it's difficult to bleed the brakes, but I don't want to have to order another set and then wait and get them in and put them on and bleed the brakes again and all that. So it's got duct tape on it. My bike, not yours. I can put duct tape on it. Not pretty, but functional. I will end up getting a little cage for that. But guys, ride your own ride. Do what you want. As long as it's within the law and you're not going to injure anybody or hurt anybody else, do it. I mean, what's the problem? If you want to go have fun out in the country like I just did, yeah, I know I didn't rip through the corners. I didn't just go 100 miles an hour for no reason. But I did ride my bike. I did enjoy the trip. I did enjoy the ride. And that's what it's all about to me. So I'm going to set you guys down real quick. Sorry for the hand in your face. But I'm going to lose this helmet. And I guess we'll talk a little.
One thing I don't really like about, all right, I'm not 100% sure where that shut off, but the one thing I don't really truly like about this microphone being inside my helmet is I've got a big head, if you can't tell. And, you know, being my height and my size, my helmet fits me perfectly fine. But, all right, guys, I was talking about my, basically my head being too big. Anyway, sorry, battery died. Having my microphone in my helmet is fine, but it does kind of, I've got it set on the right side of the front of the helmet. On the inside, it have it Velcroed in. It comes with a little button, a little magnetic button that this sets on. Magnet's really strong. Velcro's sketchy, but it works. So hopefully all this got recorded and hopefully all this is usable this time. Either way, it got me an excuse to get out on the bike again and go for a little ride. So thanks for joining me again. If you do, you know, I would like to do more of this. I just don't know. Sorry, kind of had you angled funny. It happens. But I'm hoping that I can continue to do this and continue to record things bike related, somewhat bike related. If you guys just like listening to me ramble on and just ride a bike, I mean, that's perfectly fine too. I do that a lot. I do ramble on, but these are my thoughts. And like I said last time, it helps me to talk things out, even if it's just with myself. And if you guys enjoy listening to it, let me know. If you enjoy the just trip of the whole thing, and that, you know, that's fine. I don't really know who or what group of people I'm making this video for. I'm just making the video, doing what I enjoy to do, talking to you guys, hopefully at some point saying something that might have an effect on somebody, that might have a positive, give somebody a positive outlook on something they're going through. But I'm new to this, so it is what it is. And you know, coming from the later end of the Gen X era, I look at things differently than a lot of younger people do nowadays. And I've talked to younger people about their motorcycle experience and their view on life and the things that they enjoy and the things that make them happy. And it's crazy to me to think that, you know, the way I grew up and the way I did things growing up is so radically different than what my kids dealt with, or even younger than them dealt with. So I don't know. It's a process, and you know, if you enjoy it, great. If you don't, I apologize. I mean, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I do know it is quite lengthy because I kind of got lost on the ride. I didn't know where I was going, but we made it back to the exact same place we started at. So good for us. And we still had fuel, so we didn't run out of gas. Now, I will say that this bike has a tiny, tiny, tiny gas tank. This is not the gas tank. This is an air box. The gas tank is kind of in a shallow V shape under the seat, which makes for two things. One, not a lot of range. You know, when you turn the bike on, it'll tell you you're going to get, I don't know, 115, 120 miles. But 2 miles down the road, it's reading 87 miles. And then about 6 more miles, it's reading 90 again. I don't know what the deal is. But I guess it's an instant read instead of a guesstimate on how you've been riding. So there's that. Plus, since the gas tank's in that little V shape, when you're putting fuel in it, you think you're full, but you can watch the level just glug, glug, glug down. And then you put more in and it fills up. And then it just glug, 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 glugs down. Which is okay if you didn't have to go through that process for 3 or 4 solid minutes before it quits bubbling and going down. That's more of a pain than the small fuel range. I don't care that it's 100 miles a tank, but I mean, make it easier to put fuel in it if it's going to not get much mileage out of a tank. One of the only complaints I have, it's other than that, it's wonderful. Jeff, when we were on our trip, when we stopped at the last gas stop on the way back, he only stopped because I needed to. You know, I told him, I said, I don't know what kind of mileage this thing gets, but it's got a tiny tank, so I'm going to have to stop at any chance we get, especially if we're going to be out riding for a while. And at our last fuel stop, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't care how many miles we rode. I was just watching my fuel gauge. And Jeff's more of a think aheader, if that's even a phrase. And he likes to know a ballpark of how far he can go on what he's got. Now, he did that for me at our last fuel stop. And he said, man, you're doing pretty good. And he said, based off of filling it up here before we went over to Illinois, and we did exactly this many miles, and I put like 1.8 gallons back in it, I think. He said, I just ran the math, and you're getting like 43 miles to the gallon. And I was like, wow, that's a lot more than I thought I was going to get. So there's that. There's also, there's always a good reason to pay attention to that sort of thing. I just didn't, because I knew that we were going to have plenty of gas stops and stations that we could stop at. But all in all, wonderful trip, great trip. Saw a bunch of beautiful bikes. Again, cruisers aren't really my thing, but every single one I've ever seen is beautiful in some way or another. And there were some really pretty bikes there. I didn't get a whole lot of video from there necessarily. I got a few pan arounds and walking through a little bit, but I really, I got those just to show you guys and kind of give you an idea as to what the blessing of the bikes was about and how it looked when you got there. But I wanted to walk around, me and Jeff having conversation and talking about things and just looking for ourselves. I didn't really want to record it all. I didn't really want to, one of the main reasons, I guess, is that oddly enough, I don't like to be on camera. I don't like to be in photos. I like to be on the other side of it. I like to take the photos. I like to record the video. And I'm not the type of person that wants to be in front of the camera. I never have been, and I doubt I'll ever have that craving. But in order to start this YouTube, I had to get over that. I had to think about, the future that I would like to have, if nothing else, just in more of a peace of mind and more of a maybe I can help somebody else, or more of a, hey, I'm going out to do this fun stuff anyway. Maybe I can explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And maybe I can show other people that it's not as scary as people think it is to ride a motorcycle. As long as you have a good head on your shoulders and you ride your ride and not try to keep up with your buddy that goes to race days every other weekend, I mean, you'll do fine. It's a blast. I'm telling you, it's so much fun. It's so relaxing. I want to learn as much as I can about riding. I want to learn how to maybe do some tricks on this little thing. It's built for it. It looks like it could do pretty much anything. There's this one girl that I see a lot on shorts that are, she's sport biking a lot, and man, she does some of the coolest little tricks and wheelies, and she'll do a stoppie and then flip around, land on the back tire, and take off on a wheelie. I mean, I'll never be able to do stuff like that. I don't have the balance, and I'm way too big. Throwing that much weight around, somebody's going to get hurt, and probably be me. But just to watch people be able to do stuff like that, to me, is just amazing. That would be so much fun to be able to do like some of the sliding donuts that she does, or some of the just riding a little wheelie from here to the fence over there, or nothing spectacular, just something just goofy and fun. And I'm sure most any bike can do that, but it's going to depend on whether or not the rider can. That's going to be your determining factor. And I've never been taught that. I could do that stuff on four-wheelers, but I've never been able to do it. I've never even attempted to really do it on a motorcycle on purpose. So, those are things that I would like to learn how to do, but I need somebody to teach me. I need somebody to kind of build that confidence in me that I can do it. And I'm sure with practice, I could figure it out on my own, but where's the fun in that when you can get information from somebody else that enjoys it themselves, and you can see how excited they get? That's what makes things fun to do, is doing things like that with other people, teaching you how, and learning and watching them do it. And we seem to have lost a lot of that in our country, really, or in the world today as it sits, is that everybody does their own thing. Nobody wants to join a community. Nobody wants to, ask a question of somebody they don't know. And I think that's a downfall. I don't think that's a good thing. I think that if you run across people that are into the same thing that you're into, you should be able to be like, hey man, show me how to do that. Teach me how to do that. Are you willing to teach me how to do that? Introduce yourself. I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm on my BMW or my Indian and they're on a sport bike or a straight up race bike. It really doesn't matter. They should, if they are into the sport and into the lifestyle of being that type of person, they should show an interest in helping other people to achieve stuff like that. I mean, why wouldn't you? If I'm out working on one of my cars and somebody's like, hey man, can I watch you change that part or that piece or rebuild that carburetor, or rebuild the rear end or whatever it is, because I may need to do that one day, or I have something I'm currently working on that I do need to do that on. Can I watch you do it, or can you explain to me what you're doing and why you're doing it? And I'll be like, of course, absolutely, yes. Come on, let's sit down. I'll explain it the best I can. I may not know what everything specifically is called, but I'll tell you what I call it, and I'll tell you how it works. And I like being hands-on with stuff like that. I enjoy learning new things and teaching things to people that don't know the things that I know. I mean, how else are we supposed to pass along skills and information if we don't pass along skills and information? It just doesn't make sense. Now, everybody does learn a lot on YouTube and just from online and stuff like that. I do myself. If I have an issue, like in my on my Jeep, for instance, I had a CAN bus go out. It's behind it's behind the glove box. You got to pop it all off and pull it out. It's a little green and white piece. I think it's green and white. It's green and black, green and white, something like that, back there. And it's just got a bunch of wires going into it. Well, I found out that that's one of the most common issues when you're sitting there and every single warning light comes on your dash. That kind of freaked me out when they all came on. I couldn't even shift it into gear. what I ended up doing, I was sitting in a drive-thru waiting on our food one night, and I had it in park, and I was just sitting there waiting on the food, and he gave me the food, and I went to get ready to shift it in gear, and all the lights went off again. Just everything just lit up like a Christmas tree. So when that happened, I couldn't shift it into gear. I couldn't get it out of park. So what I did was I turned it off, let it set for a second, turn it back on, and before the computer could do its reboot, I put my foot on the brake and I shifted it down into drive, just in case it decided it didn't want to allow me to shift again. Well, I found the part. I ordered it. I believe I may have even ordered that one off Amazon. I try to stay away from ordering things on Amazon. I don't know why. It's just something I don't like to do. I don't really like to order anything online to begin with, but it was a part. It matched everything I needed. It was like $23. Ordered it. It finally came in, and popped the old one out, put the new one in, and guess what? Haven't had a problem since. So, I mean, had I not looked up on YouTube common problems, common issues for that specific problem, then I would have known that, hey, it's going to cost you $23 and 30 minutes worth of work, 30 minutes worth of your time. And I tend to not pay anybody for something that I can do myself. I don't know if that's a character flaw or a benefit, but I don't like to pay somebody for something that I can do. Like if I have any issues with this Indian or my BMW or her little Yamaha, then I want to be able to fix those myself. I don't want to have to buy the factory part and then pay $130 an hour in labor when I can just order the part, do it sitting in my driveway, and have a ready to go bike in an hour or two. So that's just me. That's my way of thinking. I may be wrong, but it's done me well in the last 46 years. So I guess that's going to end it for today. It's starting to get dim, a little dark again. Still beautiful sky. That's one thing I will give us around here. Even when it's cloudy, even when it's slightly overcast, I mean, just beautiful, beautiful sky. My wife likes to, when she goes on her first break at work, it's right when the sun's starting to come up. So I just found this out today, but she likes to go out as she goes out on break and standing in a parking lot and takes pictures of the sunrise, which I think is adorable. But I never knew she did it until today. Now I know that I have seen, like, as I'm going to work, the sun's starting to just light up the edge of the sky. And for me, it's kind of weird because I leave for work at, like, I don't know, 4:45 in the morning. And we're in the Midwest, so it just seems odd to me that early the sun is starting to come up. But, I mean, in all reality, it is, what time is it now? It's 8:06 p.m. right now, and the sun hasn't even set yet. I can't see it through the building here, but you can see how bright it is still on that side. And the sun hasn't even set yet. I know we get longer days in the summer, but I don't remember them being still light outside at 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. Well, thanks for joining again. Thanks for going on a little ride with me this time. Hopefully, you guys like my little Indian. It's a fun little ride. It's a blast. It is way too loud in my opinion, but it's beautiful. I love it. It's small, it's tiny for me, but I love it. It's a blast to ride. Well, this, I guess, will be the second little video, little said lightly because it's probably going to be a half hour long again. But thanks for watching, sticking around for, I guess, the second installment of 6'5" Moto. Now, the name is kind of weird, I know, I get it. But, I mean, I can't even get you in frame here. I'm 6'5". So what else am I going to call it? I'm not going to say Travis's moto. That just sounds weird. I did think about Sasquatch because I've been called that most of my life. But 6'5" moto just has a little ring to it. It wasn't being used, so I used it. But thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking around if you have, and appreciate watching the whole thing. I mean, these are kind of sort of the things that I like to watch. You know, I don't know if I'm even allowed or able to name off any of the YouTube that I like to watch, but usually they're 30 to 40 minutes long to all the way up to almost 2 hours long. And it's just doing this kind of stuff. It's a getting to know you and or working on something and or just driving, just riding around, just doing what you enjoy to do, and just blabbering about something, just constant, just talk. And I get it, it's annoying at times if there's nothing interesting to listen to. But I mean, this is what relaxes me. I have to talk things out with myself. And it looks a lot better if I'm doing it to the camera than just walking around talking, because I've seen people get called, and seen people have the law called on them for doing things like that. But no, I don't do that. But anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching again. Next time, with any luck, we will be on my wife's little Yamaha, which will be a fun little trip. We're actually maybe planning on doing some riding tomorrow. I'm going to ask her if she cares if I record some of it, especially the her riding part. We're going to try to get out to a parking lot and set up some cones and get her ready to take her motorcycle test. So I don't know if I'll be taking the Indian tomorrow or the BMW, but whatever we set up for her, I'm going to try to do myself and try to walk her through the best possible way to go about doing it. And with any luck, she'll let us record her a little bit, and there won't be any weirdness going on in the background, which there sometimes is. Like last time I was out there, somebody was doing a donut out in one of the parking lots near me. As you can tell, they do that out here too. Just kids being kids, to be honest. But thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Like it, share it, subscribe if you want. I'd like to hear from you guys. I'd like to know what you guys think. I'd like to know if you like this sort of thing, or if you would rather have the rest of like the cookie cutter test rides that just give you all the specs and my opinion on the bike. I will do some test rides, mainly just to see if I fit. That's what this whole thing started about, was to see if I could fit on any bike, all bikes, anything I can get my hands on. I want to take for a ride to see if I can fit on, to see if I can be comfortable on, to see if it's a viable option for somebody starting out riding at my size. Which, you know, you can make yourself comfortable on things, but I'm going to be honest. If it's not comfortable, I'm just going to straight up say it's not comfortable and this is why. But I'm not going to throw out all the specs and all the little idiosyncrasies of the bike itself and what other people have said about it. I'm just going to give you my outlook. You know, I'll tell you if I know. I'll tell you the CCs of the engine. I'll tell you the seat height if I know it. If I don't, sorry, I just don't know it. And maybe I'll start setting up something to where you can see me sitting on the bike. That way you can get a better understanding of the ergonomics and the geometry that I'm at sitting on it. So we'll try that. We might try that with her Yamaha tomorrow. I don't know. But again, sorry, just keep rambling. But thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you like it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope I'm not too boring. I guess we'll see what we're going to do with the Yamaha tomorrow and see if she'll let us record some. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time.